Sup, my woes. That I don't even know what that means. I heard Drake say it a lot, but I don't really know what woes mean. So if that's like a very disrespectful term, I am so sorry. But if anybody knows what woes means, comment below in the comment section. Right. But sup. Go. Alright, let's go. Right.
All Hallows Eve is a time for ghoulish costumes, parties, candy, and creepy pranks.
Which is exactly why I'm gonna stay my ass right inside the house. If for some reason I'm outside on Halloween, best believe I'm gonna have the most at top of the line Adidas of all Adidas. Just saying.
Sometimes things go too far, often with tragic consequences. So here we'll look at 5 people who lost their lives during the Halloween celebrations.
Damn.
The Candyman.
Oh my God.
Just like any dutiful father, Ronald Clark O'Brien set out on October the 31st, 1974, trick-or-treating in Pasadena, Texas. His party included his 2 children, Timothy aged 8 and Elizabeth aged 5, and a neighbor and his 2 kids. At some point in the evening, the children ran off ahead of their father after failing to get a response from a house they'd visited. A short time later, O'Brien caught up and gave all the children in the group some pixie stick candy, a type of treat that you ingest through a straw.
Mm-hmm.
He also gave the same candy to a 10-year-old boy whom he recognized from his church. After returning home, Timothy asked if he could eat some of the candy he collected before he went to bed, and he chose the pixie stick his father had given him. After tasting it, he complained it tasted bitter, so his father gave him a drink to wash it down.
Oh.
Almost immediately after, Timothy said he felt unwell and ran to the bathroom, where he vomited and started convulsing. His father rushed him to hospital, but sadly he died en route.
Oh my God.
Timothy's death prompted fear in the community that trick-or-treat candy had been poisoned, and several parents handed in all the candy their children had collected that night. After tests, it was established that Timothy had died from consuming a pixie stick that was laced with a fatal dose of potassium cyanide. Alarm bells started to ring for the police, and they tried to collect up all the pixie sticks children in the area had collected on Halloween night. Fortunately, the one laced with cyanide had not been eaten by the other 4 children O'Brien had given them to. It seemed they all had a lucky escape, as tests on the candy consumed by Timothy contained enough cyanide to kill 2 adults, while the other 4 candies contained dosages that could kill 3 to 4 adults.
The hell?
After this discovery, O'Brien was not initially suspected, but when police discovered that O'Brien was heavily in debt and had taken out life insurance policies on his children in the months preceding Timothy's death, he was arrested and charged. Despite pleading not guilty, he was convicted on June 3rd, 1975, and found guilty of capital murder and 4 counts of attempted murder.
You son of a...
He was sentenced to death, and on March 31st, 1984, O'Brien was executed by lethal injection. During the execution, a crowd of 300 demonstrators gathered outside the prison and cheered and shouted, "Trick or treat."
That's kind of
A
messed up.
teenager hangs himself to death in front yard while trying to prank his sister. In October 2013, a Halloween-loving Kentucky family had just decorated their house ready for Halloween. One of the props was a noose hanging from a tree in the front yard.
Oh my God.
While the rest of the family had gone out, Jordan Morland decided to play a prank on them. He waited until they came home and then stuck his head in the noose, pretending he had hung himself.
That's not a prank. That's not a prank. That's not a clucking prank. Pranked? Really? Pranked. That's not a clucking prank. It's not. It's not, okay? Like, there are certain pranks that are funny and good and, you know, and all right. And then there are certain pranks that are not funny, disrespectful, rude, you know, so scary that it's not even a prank. Like that is not a prank. Because best believe, if I'm walking down the street and I see this looks real as shit. Best believe if I see that on the street, I'm hauling ass down the other way. Best believe that. Right, I'm already 6 miles out. What you talking about? Where you at with yours? That's not a prank. That's not a prank. That's not. That's scary as hell. Oh my God. Nope.
Tragically, as the family looked on, believing it was just another one of his jokes, they failed to recognize that he was in real trouble. It wasn't until his sister got closer and realized he was not moving and had drool hanging from his mouth that she called her mother. They cut him down and rushed him to hospital, but sadly Jordan had already slipped into a coma and passed away 12 hours later. The prank had gone horribly wrong when Jordan had accidentally slipped while putting his head in the noose. Prankster Spike's Halloween punch with Visine eye drops.
What?
In 2018, a woman from New York was attending a Halloween party with her friend Maris Jones, inspired by a prank that she had seen in the film The Wedding Crashers, where one of the main characters puts eye drops in a rival's drink in an effort to bring about violent diarrhea. She decided to spike the Halloween punch with Visine eye drops for a laugh. She thought the drops would make her friend woozy and rushed to the toilet, but she was wrong. Jones quickly collapsed after drinking the punch and was taken to hospital. Several other guests at the party also became ill. Jones died 2 days later, and at the time, it was not known who spiked the drink. It would be a further 2 months before the unnamed woman came forward and admitted that she had spiked it. She was arrested and charged with misdemeanor assault causing bodily harm. The woman told police that she believed the eye drops would cause mild illness, most likely diarrhea. However, with Jones's history of medical problems, the effects of the drops attributed to her death. It seems like an urban myth that eye drops added to a drink can cause diarrhea, because they can actually have a much more serious effect, such as lowering the body temperature to dangerous levels, interfering with breathing, causing blurred vision, vomiting, and in some cases death. So if you've ever thought about playing the Visine prank, then think again. Egg tragedy. On Halloween evening in 1998, 21-year-old Carl Jackson drove his girlfriend through the Bronx in New York to pick up her 9-year-old son from a Halloween party.
Right.
As they stopped at an intersection, a group of teenagers pelted their car with eggs.
Damn.
When Jackson confronted them, 17-year-old Curtis Sterling drew a handgun and shot Jackson in the head, killing him instantly. Curtis was sentenced to 20 years in prison, and every year he was in prison, he received a chilling card on Halloween that read, "I'm glad you're still there." All the cards were sent by the same person, Jackson's mother. It's worth remembering that although egging and firing people has been a favourite Halloween prank for many years, it's also the prank that has caused the most grief and suffering, especially if it's played on the wrong person who may not find it funny, and may retaliate in a violent, sometimes deadly way. Halloween house party killing.
Nah.
On October the 17th, 1992, Japanese exchange student Yoshi Hattori was on his way to an early Halloween party with his home-state brother, Webb Haymaker. He had only been in the US for 2 months and was looking forward to meeting fellow exchange students. He was all dressed up in a white tuxedo, and his friend Haymaker was wearing a neck brace due to a recent injury and bandages as part of his Halloween costume. At around 8 p.m, Haymaker and Hattori drove to the neighborhood in central East Baton Rouge where the party was being held. But they got the wrong house and mistakenly knocked on the door of Rodney Pierce and his wife Bonnie, due to the similarities of the address and the Halloween decorations on the outside of the house. Nobody answered the front door, but Bonnie opened the side door and was spooked by their appearance and slammed it shut, then called for her husband to get his gun. As the pair returned to the car, Rodney Pierce opened the car door, armed with a loaded and cocked .44 Magnum revolver.
Damn.
Hattori said, "We're here for the party," but Pierce pointed the gun at him and yelled, "Freeze." Hattori, who had limited English and was not wearing his contacts, did not understand and carried on walking. It's speculated that he may have thought it was a Halloween prank. Atai was also holding a camera, which Pierce mistook for a weapon, and as Hattori carried on walking towards him, he fired his gun, hitting him in the chest. The shot pierced the upper and lower lobes of Hattori's left lung and exited through the area of the 7th rib. He died in the ambulance minutes later from loss of blood. The local police quickly questioned and released Rodney Pierce, and declined to charge him with any crime because, as in their view, Pierce had been within his right in shooting the trespasser. But after Louisiana Governor Edwin Edwards and the New Orleans Japanese Consul General protested, Pierce was eventually charged with manslaughter. His defense was that Hattori had an extremely unusual manner of moving that any reasonable person would find scary. The trial lasted 7 days, after which the jury returned a not guilty verdict. So that's 5 tragic Halloween stories. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
Yo, the talking and watching like real stories about killing that that makes me, oh my god, I don't like that killing is just why I don't like that. Oh my god. But do want to say, if you got any plans for Halloween, please make sure you have on Adidas something. They don't have to be shoes, preferably shoes, but you know, they could be like an Adidas hat, socks, pants, shirts, tank top, bras, panties, drawers, I don't know, something Adidas on it. Because the reason I say that is because, you know, and I said this before, like the reason I don't like Halloween is like, you just don't know, like people have a reason to put on their mask, you know. Like during Halloween, when you see somebody with a mask, you may think nothing of it. But versus somebody putting on a mask in the clucking in May in broad daylight, come on, that's already sus. But then it's like you put on a mask on Halloween, so it's like, I don't know if I should trust you or not. Like, just because this is a holiday and this is a time for you to dress up in costume don't mean I can just let my mother clucking guard down, which I'm not, because I'm not gonna let it down. Matter of fact, I'm gonna have it up 2 times as up than what it already is, you know. Because every time I step foot outside this house, my guard is already up. But on Halloween, oh man, my guard is gonna be, oh man, you know, it's gonna be hella strong. I'm gonna be hella cautious, you know. So, you know, this is it's like Easter or something, like the bunny. I mean, I don't know if they still do that, but it's like, if you see the Easter bunny in like September, that's really sus. But if you see the Easter bunny like during Easter, that's also kind of sus, because you just don't know. You don't know who's behind that in that costume. You just don't know. You feel me? So I mean, if you staying inside in Halloween, during Halloween, just make sure everything that can be locked should be locked. And if you're going outside or anywhere that's not your house, make sure you got something Adidas. That's all I'm saying. And have your guard up more than what it already is during Halloween. Keep it cool, keep it classy, and I love you. Stay happy. My family.